Hey guys, welcome to week 3, legal terminology. This week we're talking about trial terms. Trials happen in a courthouse. This is an old courtroom in Kings County in Hanford that we used to use up until 2016 to hear criminal cases. This courthouse, this courtroom is no longer in service. We have a brand new courthouse down the street, so all the cases have been moved there, but the courthouse is still here. It's still set up like a courtroom. We use it for training purposes a lot for some of our new prosecutors, but I want to take you through the courtroom we have here and just kind of show you some of the terms that we're going to talk about this week. So like I said, a trial doesn't take place inside of an office. A trial doesn't take place inside of an auditorium or outside. It takes place in a courthouse, in a courtroom. So we're going to go into a courtroom here in Hanford. So as you can see, in the back here, there are a lot of seats. It's kind of like an auditorium, isn't it? Or like a concert hall. This is called the gallery. And the gallery is a place where people that come in, members of the public, can come in and watch a court proceeding. There was a big trial going on in here. Like there was a trial in here several years ago called the Dave Hawk trial. It was a murder trial. This room was filled with spectators. The media was in here, family, friends, people that were interested in the case. But it's not just the public that comes in here, it's people that have cases because they wait in these chairs until the judge calls their case. A typical day in court consists of 60 to 100 court cases. So most of the people that have cases wait in these chairs. Now this is the courtroom. We'll move forward through it. You'll see there's a little wall right here. See that little wall? It's about waist high, a little wooden wall. That is called the bar. The only people that are allowed on the other side of the bar are attorneys, witnesses, the judge, and the bailiffs in the courtroom. And if you're in court and you come up to the judge will have you stop and they won't want you to come past the bar until they invite you up. Now once you get past the bar, you'll notice that there are 2 tables. And there will always be 2 tables in a courtroom because there's presumably 2 attorneys on every case. Sometimes there's more. But there will be, let's say the plaintiff would sit here, the defendant would sit there, or the district attorney would sit here, and the defense attorney and the person being charged with a crime would sit there at these counsel tables. And that's what we call them. As we move forward, you will see there's another seating area over here. This is called the jury box. If you ever get a jury duty summons, there's a chance you'll sit in chairs like this. There's also a chance you'll just go to a really big room and you'll never make it into a small courtroom. But this is the jury box. If we had a trial in here, the jurors who were deciding the case would sit in these chairs. And we don't call jurors by name, we call them by number. So if you notice on these chairs, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. 9, 10. So we can say, juror number 11 appears to be asleep. Juror number 12 appears to be asleep. This juror lost their number. And the numbers are etched on the chairs. So. But that's the jury box. The jury sits there, and they can see the whole courtroom. They can see where the attorneys sit at the counsel table. They can see where the other attorney sits. They can see out in the gallery. And they can certainly see the witness stand. Now, when somebody comes into court that is a witness, they will usually stop between these tables, and the court clerk will ask them to raise their right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you? If they say yes, they will take the witness stand. As you can see, there's a chair there, there's a little microphone. There's a dry erase board hidden in the wall back here. So that's the witness stand. Up on the high part right there is where the judge sits. Judge always sits up higher than everybody else, and they're wearing the black robe. That's how you can tell it's the judge. If this courtroom was in operation, there'd be a state seal behind the judge, the seal of the great state of California. It's a round seal, looks kind of like a big coin. Next to the judge over here on the left, and it could be on the right depending on the courtroom, is where the court clerk sits. And the court clerk keeps track of everything that's going on in the case. If the case is continued to another date, or new dates are set, or there's something else going on, the court clerk will keep track of that. The court clerk will keep track of who the parties are that showed up, who the attorneys are that showed up. In front of the court clerk, usually or right in front of the judge, the court reporter will come in. And they'll bring a little machine with them that they use to type down everything that is said in court. But if you notice, there's no way for the judge to get up on the bench. And that's what we call it, the bench. So let's go see how the judge gets on the bench. As you can see, this building is used mostly for storage now. This is the judge's chambers, and that's a fancy term just for an office. This is a judge's office. And the judge will come in here and they'll read the cases and they'll read the law and they'll meet with the lawyers back here. They get a couple of closets to put their fancy black robes in. They get their own bathroom. Look at that. So when the judge is ready to take the bench to go out into court, they will push this little button here, like a little doorbell, and it'll buzz out in the courtroom. And one of the bailiffs will know that the judge is ready to come out, and they'll say, "All rise," or "Be seated and come to order," and the judge will come out, and this is the judge's bench. And this is what it looks like to be a judge. There's the jury. There are the counsel tables. There's the gallery. There's their clerk. And over there, the witness stand. So let's head back out to the courtroom, finish up. This area here is where some of the court employees might sit, some other clerks. There are other clerks besides the ones that you see sitting next to the judge. There's a lot behind the scenes that run a lot of paperwork through the courthouse. Now we're looking at the counsel tables again. In every courtroom, when it's in session, there's always a bailiff in the courtroom. A bailiff is just a deputy sheriff, that's a police officer, that is responsible for maintaining security in the courtroom, and this is where they sit. Normally in the modern courtrooms, they're going to have a camera system so they can keep an eye on things. Here you can see they've got the wires still for the camera system and some machinery to control the microphones. This courtroom happens to have 2 bailiff stations, one on each side. Why would that be? Well, this bailiff that would sit here is responsible for going and getting the inmates on the criminal cases if they're in custody. So the inmates are kept here. In every courthouse, they have little jail cells. So if somebody has court, they bring them over from the jail through underground tunnels and into the courtroom. So if a case is called on a criminal defendant, the bailiff would walk the defendant out this way from the cell and would seat them down generally at this table. Their attorney would be sitting next to them. The prosecutor would be over here. The judge would call the case. So that's generally kind of a brief overview of a real courtroom, even though this is a courtroom that's not in use anymore. Hopefully it's helpful, and if you watch this and then watch the PowerPoint, I define the terms a little bit more and show you a couple pictures, but I really just wanted to give you an idea of what a real courtroom looked like.